Welcome back, and in this video I want to continue the work with the head movement in cover mode. So I have this problem with the character right now. When we turn, he's gonna make some really freaky stuff, and so we want to fix that first. We actually need to do a few things. First of all, I want to make a few adjustments on the character blueprint. So we have a first-person camera, and I want to add a spring arm actually in between the first-person camera, because I just discovered that I could use the offset for the spring arm. So type in spring arm and call this the FP spring arm, and let's drag that one up to the mesh and parent the first person camera to the spring arm. So I want to make sure that I have all these settings correct, so hang on a minute. Let's go to the viewport, it's easier to see in here. So our first person camera is now hanging out here, and first of all we want to take that first person spring arm and make sure that the length of this is 0, and we also want to make sure that it's using the parent socket for the head, so it's going to be attached to the head, and that throws it off. So let's make sure that we zero out all of this. I want to add, actually if you take a look at the direction again, and it's gonna still go backwards. I just want to make sure that it's going backwards. So, and I also want to add a rotation so that it swings up in place. Just makes it a bit easier, I think. I hope this is correct. This. Anyway, I'm gonna set this back to 0, the length of the arm, and then I'm gonna go to the first person camera, and first I'm just gonna zero these out because want to reset everything, also the rotation and all that stuff, so everything is reset. So let's take a look at what we have for the new spring arm. The spring arm has a socket offset, and since the socket, the spring arm also has use pawn control rotation, and the camera also has this one, but is now parented to the spring arm. We can use this to change a little bit on the setup that we made in the previous video. So let's see. Just want to make sure I do this correct. Okay, so we have use pawn control rotation set on here. We want to switch that off for the camera. So that means that it will follow the rotation or whatever the spring arm is doing. And by doing this, it also allows us to, on the first person camera, actually to you remember maybe from the last video, I showed that we could not change the rotation offset, for example. So let's say I wanted to turn this camera a little bit forward, maybe, which I actually do. So I just set it to 15 degrees forward. So now I can actually use this offset and still have the spring arm have the use pawn control rotation set to off. Hang on, no, wait a minute. I want to have this on, sorry. Okay, so that's um, these two settings we want to have. Okay, so if we play this now, let's see what it looks like in first person. We have some issues now, and that is because we have some values already set inside the the. Do I have this open somewhere? I have too much stuff open. This adjusts camera zoom stuff. The normal preview. Okay, so let me see. I picked some good values for this. So this one is going to be -10, and this is going to be 10. So let's check that out, how that looks. It still looks off. Did I miss something? Seems to be a bit off to the side. This is 0, this is 0. It looks pretty centered to me. And I'm pretty... Oh, I've got this one. There we go. So now we have the first person camera back to normal again, and let's go check out the climbing. This is awful now, so we need to fix that also. So actually I think most of these values we can just use as the same value now. So -10 and 0 and 10. Let's see how that one looks. We have to adjust a little bit. So it's better, but it's not really perfect yet. Let me just check if I made some adjustments. This to show, okay, I see. The spring arm seems I went into the what is this? This is the socket offset. FP spring arm. I have a camera and I have a socket. Yeah, okay, so under this section we have a lot of transforms and locations and stuff. But the thing is, on the camera here, we can now set socket offset, so we can pull this up a little bit. So now we can see a little bit more of ourselves. I think it makes it better, and not that one. So in climbing first person, I think it also looks pretty good now. But if I wanted, I could pull it maybe a little bit forward again. Anyway, I don't want to spend more time on that. It's something you can tweak yourself. Because this video, I actually wanted to address this stuff here. So the freakiness of the climbing state, the cover state. So one thing we need to do is to go and take a look at how we update the camera for, let's see, okay, we actually want to see it from third person, because as we can see now, the head, when I move over here, the head follows, and actually we want to look, when we look like down this, we want actually the head, or I do at least, I want him to look away from the camera, and when I move to this side, I want it to look behind him, kind of, but not that way. So I kind of wanted the opposite way of what it is now. So we have this update head rotation logic here, and I want to feed in an inverted value for this. So that's what we're gonna take a look at now. So for this, we can use our function is in cover, which is a function that we made earlier on, and it takes a movement state. And so what this says is that if we are in cover mode, then we want to treat the rotation of the head differently. Okay, so we might want to move this down a little bit and comment this normal rotation stuff. Okay, I can't really come up with a better name. Sorry. And then we want to say drag out from this one and say set a branch. So depending on the outcome of this, if we are in cover. So if actually we want to say if we are not in cover, then we want to do the normal stuff. And so if we are in cover, then we want to treat things differently. So let's see, we want to, maybe we should go ahead because we want to do this, we want to update this from this logic down here, and copy this and make a different handling in case we are in cover. So let's implement that stuff now. So let's actually just connect this one up, and we know we're gonna make a rotator eventually, so we can just drag that one in. Well, could just use the same variable here. Okay. Let's see. The thing about this, we can actually start off by copying some of this this stuff here, and then just correct it. So pull that away, and where did that come from? I think it needs to go into the pitch, and this needs to go into the yaw, and let's actually make a test with this. So this is basically just copied more or less. So now we are in cover, and he is looking the wrong direction, and he's also sliding, doing some weird stuff. We're gonna take care of that afterwards. So actually we need to look at one more thing in order to make this clear, because if I turn move to the other side, hang on a minute, this is actually looking correct more or less, just need to invert something. So well, let's try something out. We have a movement direction variable that tells us if we are moving this way or this way, and kind of want to do something with the head. So I probably need this works different than the way I did it, so I'm kind of I'm actually not really sure what to do about this. So let's try out by making a little bit space and say last movement direction. which is going to be +1 or -1, and say this is greater than 0, then we want to make a select float, and let's try and these values, because 90 degrees is probably a good value. So what I'm going to do is to take the yaw and subtract the resulting yaw we have here. And so if we are moving one direction, then it's going to subtract 90, and otherwise it's going to actually add 90 to our head rotation. So that's going to bring the head forward. And unfortunately it also makes an adjustment to the character. Okay, so that's also something we need to look into. So let's go ahead and do that first. Otherwise we can't really get him to do anything. So the reason he's adjusting is because we have this logic saying, actually we have the same logic for if we are in a hanging braced state. So we want to add a similar one. I could, I have this function saying if we are in, okay, I need to move this, all of this stuff, make some space and plug in a function, call, did I get everything? Yeah, just gonna make plenty of space. Anyway, the function we want to call is called is in cover. So we want to say, are we in cover? Are we not in cover? And are we not in a braced hang? Then we want to adjust the character position. Otherwise, we shouldn't do anything. So this should take care of the adjustment made to the actor's rotation. So now he's just gonna move and look forward. And actually now you can see the head is turning away. But the thing is, and yeah, well, it looks kind of okay. And it looks actually pretty weird. Something with the rotation of the body. So I actually want to disable the body rotation. Also, his arm is sticking into the wall. So I'm gonna go into the animation blueprint, and we have this huge bunch of spaghetti we made last time. I just rearranged it a little bit with all these modified bones, head, neck, spine, 1, 2, 3. So I want to drag out one here and saying, are we in a hanging braced, or are we in a standing cover state, or are we in crouched cover state? So, oh, no, paint. I want to say, are we in either of these? Add pin and add this one, and say, okay, so if either of these are true, then I want to pick the top one, otherwise we're going to use the other one. So I don't know what's the easiest way to do this. Maybe just copy all this, pick this one and replace it. I think can't really come up with a better way to do this. Or maybe I could just say, it's gonna be kind of spaghetti-ish anyway, because that's a word. So could just drag from these, all of them, and well, maybe replicate it over here, so I don't have to have that all that red lines crisscrossing. So like that. It ain't pretty, but it should work. So this should take care of the rotation of the head, so that it only rotates, yeah, now on the head. And as you can see now, when we are turning the camera, the body stays still. And if we come off the wall, we still have a body rotation in a walking state. And that's actually what we wanted. So that is the part of with the head. We actually have a problem here, because when we are looking up, he's looking down, and when we are looking down, he's looking up. And if we move to the other side, it is working correctly. So here he's looking down, and we are looking down, and he's looking down, but here he's looking up. So we actually need to fix this also. It's a minor issue. Inside the update head rotation, I'm gonna go to the logic where we had a selector for the last movement direction. I'm just gonna make a similar one for this. Let me check. Yeah, this one is inverted, and we don't always want to invert that, so we want to select float and only invert it if this is true. So pull this one over here and then feed it into the what's easiest, put it in here, and otherwise just use the raw value and feed it into the no, sorry, it was the pitch. The pitch. Okay, so let's see. We are looking down, and he's looking down, and we're looking up, and he's looking up, and we turn around, and he's still orienting the head correctly. I have no idea if this is the best way to do it. Maybe I could just have as well have done something with having some kind of imaginary point that I would drive the head rotation using a look at rotator. I might want to experiment with that eventually. Anyway, let's continue. So inside first person, it looks like this now, and we are kind of in the middle of our body, and we need to go ahead and fix that. So adjust camera zoom. We have some old values from up here. First of all, let's just say -10, 0, and 10. Take these values and see if they fit in here. -10, 0, and 10. 0 and 10. Yeah. -10, 0, and 10. Right. 180, 90, like that. Let's see if that looks better. It looks a little bit better. It could kind of looks weird. Like we can see a little stump of our head. So let's take off the forward part here, and just only keeping the part that raises the head a little bit. So now it looks quite a bit better, I think, and we still can look in the direction of the camera or control the movement. I'm just holding my key forward, and that when I change the direction, he's gonna change direction as well. So I think that's it for this video. I think especially here it looks really odd. I still maybe wanna um, just keep a fixed rotation of the head instead of, I guess this, it well, he does what I'm telling him to, kind of, but it still looks pretty weird in third person, I think. So that's it for this video. I will continue in the next one. So hope this was useful to somebody, and thank you for watching. Bye.